I was always singing and dancing, and at that time there were a lot of schools for kids to go and take tap and ballet and acting and singing. So I went to that kind of school, other, separate from my educational school that I went to. And I always loved music, and my mother played a lot of music. My mother had played the piano when she was a child, and my father had sung in the whole Johnson's choir, and my mother was a cotton club dancer for a short while. So there was always music in the house. The record player was always going with great legends who my parents admired, and so it was one of those musical families. My older sister, she also sang, so music was always a part of our life. So it was something that I took for granted that I always did. It was like breathing. I started at the Apollo when I was 9 years old, so there was Louis Armstrong and Ella and Dinah, and Nellie Lutcher was somebody my mother liked, and Nat King Cole, you know, Frank Sinatra. In fact, my mother told me that when I started singing, the first thing I sang was this Frank Sinatra song, Nancy with the Smiling Face. So she had a little bit of everything. And of course, Lena. Lena was also big. It happened because they had a radio show that was like an amateur hour, and a celebrity would bring a child on, and Thelma Carpenter brought me on, and I kept winning every week, and they couldn't get rid of me, so they decided to put an act together for me and put me on the Apollo stage. And at 9 years old, that's how I started, and the first person I worked with was Louis Armstrong. It was so much fun, you know. It was like my education. It's the best part of learning your craft that could possibly happen, was playing the Apollo, because we did 29 shows a week. And so therefore you learned how to suck it up and do your show. And Pops, he was great, you know. He embraced my mother and I, and along with his wife, Lucille. And so we used to hang out at his house even when I wasn't playing the Apollo. And of course, I used to watch every single performance of the artists that I was working for, whether it was Ella or Dinah. I would stand in the wings and just watch every single show.
Wow.
And then to get the opportunity to sometimes do a song with them as well. So it was a great, great experience. And I usually played there during the summertime and around Christmas time. And of course, you know, those famous amateur hour shows that happened there. That was a great experience to see these people coming on and trying to win this contest and hope that they get to play the Apollo. And Ed Sullivan used to come up there every time there was a new show, and he had a special box that he would sit in, and it was like, oh wow, there's Ed Sullivan, you know. And of course the experience of that audience, which was a very tough audience. So I always say the cliche, if you can make it at the Apollo, you can make it anywhere. So it was a great, great education for me.